you, Obi?
Good. How are you?
Great, great. Thank you. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for agreeing to talk
Absolutely.
to us.
Sure.
You're one of Gainesville's most important companies, just because we have seen you grow up from your founding all the way through where you are today, which is an amazing accomplishment. And kudos to you. I was telling you earlier, it's I think the first time I interviewed you was about 8 years ago, where you were like in this tiny, crammed space, and then moved to Starter Space, and then you're here now. So tell me a little bit about the evolution of the company and the spaces that you've been in.
Sure. So the evolution has been pretty unique because as a manufacturing company and an e-commerce company all in one, we've had to have a pretty diverse style of office and space. So whenever we've grown, we've had to consider, do we have enough space to manufacture out of the new facility? Do we have enough space to house all of our office employees? And it's been a challenge just because there haven't been a lot of companies like us in Gainesville. So trying to grow on the fly and still maintain business while finding a space and relocating the space. You don't want to do that too often. You want to find a space that you can grow into. And the first space that we were in when you first interviewed us was definitely the incubating space, and then we moved to our second space downtown, which we were really grateful to be there for almost a decade, right? 8 years. We made the best use out of every square inch possible of that space, and we could just see the writing on the wall that demand was growing faster than our office space was. And we were quickly running out of space to house employees and ship orders out of it. So at the end of the day, it was time to move on, and we started looking for a new space about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago.
Okay, great. Well, then you found it, obviously. And so what has kept you here in Gainesville? Was it finding the new space and having that opportunity, or what has it been something else?
Us being in Gainesville was a combination of a number of things. The hardest part, I think, was starting the company in Gainesville, and as we've been able to grow and gain traction and get more successful, it's become slightly easier and slightly easier. But at each growth stage, you have unique challenges. At this point, it's about finding the best talent, making sure that people want to come work for a growing, reputable company here in Gainesville, Florida. As far as this new space is concerned, over the past decade, I've kind of developed a chip on my shoulder to want to prove that you can not just start a company, but build a company into a world-class operation here. And we've kind of set out to prove it. And we wouldn't do it if we didn't think it was a wise business decision. And ultimately, we feel like it is. So really, the story is yet to be fully written, right, based on how well we do in this space. But we really want to prove that a company cannot just be started here. It can even go beyond its first few years and develop in a really mature, world-class company.
Right. Well, you've definitely made it a world-class company, and
Thank you for trying.
Yeah, and you've made this look. When I first walked in here, I thought, oh, am I, in San Francisco? Am I in Boston or something? And this is Gainesville, Florida, or Alachua. And it's a phenomenal space. And so you've turned it from a warehouse, basically just like an empty box, into what it is. And tell me a little bit about why you've made it like this. I mean, they're open areas, they're conference rooms and whatnot. So what was did you work with a designer? Was this all you?
It was definitely not all me. It was definitely a group effort, and the minute I knew that we were going to be in a facility like this, I had to call in the professionals. This is not anywhere close to being in my wheelhouse. So we worked with Ludovine Kale from Kale Partners. She was our primary interior designer. We brought her in on the project. We talked a little bit about my vision. And honestly, it was a culmination of a decade's worth of learnings about what sort of office environment works best. And so we learned about the pros and cons of a completely open office floor plan. We learned about how important it is to have enclosed meeting spaces of various sizes, how important it is to have bathrooms located in a certain way. There's a lot that goes into it, and I didn't want to do it haphazardly or feel like I really even knew, honestly, what I was doing. So, case in point, I had proposed this preliminary floor plan to Ludovine. She came in and said, yeah, no, that's off balance. You got to think about X, Y, and Z, and I had no idea. And even now that we're in the space, it's still a little ways away from being just right? You don't know what a face is going to feel like and how it's going to work until you're actually in it. So we've been going through the motions of settling in, understanding what still needs to be tweaked, and how we can make it just right. It's going to take a couple months, but we feel like at the end of the day, we should be able to make it fit for our needs, not just now, but more importantly in the future.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the key, is to have a space to grow into, and it seems like you found that here.
Yeah. Listen, it wouldn't be the worst problem to have to outgrow the space, because we have, we're just growing that quickly. But this space, more than any other we've had thus far, represented a chance for us to actually grow into and have some runway.
Do you think that the design of a space like this, along with great things like being able to have your pets at work, which is like the best thing, does that help with your company culture and retention?
Certainly, but it just needs to be put in the proper order of things, right? So I don't think things like having pets at work or even the design of space is going to be what seals the deal. Obviously things like culture and the financial health of the company and what we provide is always foremost. It should be foremost, but I think that the space can represent a lot of attention to detail in terms of what we focus on, what we care about, and it's just another opportunity for the company to express itself. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully we do a good job of having the space represent us. And it is definitely a really awesome, not even a perk, a really good benefit, but it's in a list of other things.
Okay. Well, in a company that is about images that are visually stunning, I think you've incorporated that into that.
We feel like it's a pretty stunning place.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations on everything that you've done and of keeping it here in Gainesville. You are definitely adding to our growth and our tech community and our entrepreneur community, and that's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, of course. At the end of the day, hopefully it inspires more people to stay. I think that was one of the biggest desires for us, was that the end goal is not for us just to be real successful, but if people are able to come to the space, be inspired, and say, hey, we can also, again, not just start, but build and finish a company here, then I think we have been successful. So, jury's still out on that, but hopefully we're the first of many.
Absolutely. I look forward to interview number 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, thank you.